storm chasing. I think also we can, if I remember correctly, thank his wife for that in part as well, which we're going to talk about later.
It takes a village, really.
It sure does. It
sure does.
But guys, we are looking at which villages may be dealing with some very heavy rain.
Yeah, this is one of those setups, Dr. Greg, where you've got some good news, bad news, right? We need the rain. We're kind of lost without it here so far this season, but it may mean some tropical influence.
Yeah, when fronts come down into the tropics or subtropics this time of year, say south of Jacksonville, they can sometimes spin up tropical development. And so we've got to watch that. It's a real, problem sometimes in this time of year that we've got to pay attention to, because these fronts carry with them thunderstorms. We know that. That's ingredient number one. They also carry some spin with them at lower levels, which is actually a requirement for the development of tropical systems. So let's track, as we go through the afternoon today, let's track this front, and what we have shaded on the background is kind of this broad, low-level spin that sort of accompanies fronts typically, but when that moves into the tropics, it can pose some additional problems. So we're looking at Monday, right? We've got that front, and there's that broad, low-level spin associated with that front. It's called vorticity, and you can see the low-level winds are going to be doing this like that and coming down like that. So if you were to put a paddle wheel in here, you'd get a sense that it would spin around in a way like that. Right now, there are no real indications that anything will spin up very tightly along that front and become a tropical cyclone. But the odds aren't zero, and some of the models suggest that maybe they're 10 to 20%.
Right, when you see that kind of boundary that's not moving very much, it's pretty easy to see that little ripple develop, so that's what we're watching. All right. Chris, we've got a lot of things going on, including across parts, because we have storms to talk about right now, and you can see with the radar, it's all on the west coast for the most part. You have it from Fort Myers and approaching Tampa. The setup is there. If you look at the water vapor imagery, this is where I love, because you can see how the atmosphere is moving. You see where the moisture is and where it's not. You see this dry air pushing in, and then you see this band of the brighter colors. That's where we're seeing the front. That's where all the moisture is being concentrated. There's plenty of it. That tropical moisture is very much in place. You only need that one little mechanism to wring it out, and we have it. We have that boundary. You're going to hear Dr. Postel talk about it with its tropical influence, but definitely influencing the weather in Florida over the next few days. So as long as that front isn't moving very much, the chances of the showers and the thunderstorms not really budging. And where we find ourselves seeing the rain right now, actually the next few days, we're going to see the most being picked up right there. 3 to 5 inches, yellow and orange, but you've got Tampa in there, you've got Fort Myers. If you have tea times through the weekend in Florida, you may have to adjust a little bit, but certainly the east coast of Florida, another area we want to watch because of the lack of rain. But Sunshine State, maybe not so much, Chris.
Yeah, that's the thing. The liquid Sunshine State for some areas. Some areas need it, some areas not so much.
Another thing we're keeping an eye on, if you've been following this show all week or following everybody on Facebook and Twitter, you've been hearing tropical development. So we're going to kind of give it to you real here, tell you what we know and what we think we may know of what's going to be playing out over the next few days. So the steering flow, important this time of year because that helps, of course, guide anything that develops, whether an area of low pressure or an actual tropical system. So we've got a jet stream dip to the north. We do expect, and the models are picking up on, an area of low pressure developing off the southeast coast. So we've got that. And anytime we see that this time of year, it always makes us go, well, what else is at play here? Well, whether or not this is anything officially tropical, we do expect that, we're going to see some maybe increased surf along the southeast mid-Atlantic coast, and that means increased rip current risk. So that is definitely something that you want to think about heading into the weekend and the week ahead. But it's all about this boundary draped across Florida.